Good gracious. Wow, my voice is so loud right now. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Hi.
I need to turn my headphones down. Oh my God, I'm so loud in my own head. I mean, that's how it feels normally, but that's definitely not how I want to go through the entire podcast with my. Ooh, hello, Mr. Cricket. Good evening. Salutations, peace and blessings from Los Angeles, California. We are the Woke with Kids crew. I'm Inyaze, and I am joined by
Melissa.
And we are a married couple, partners in crime and parenting, in no particular order of preference. And it's time for us to talk about things that we talk about. Let me adjust Melissa's microphone because I like to hear it pop nice and loud. If you guys don't know, if this is your first time, if you're listening from Belencourt, France, or some place that I can't pronounce really well, if you're in a rich suburb of Paris right now, for some reason listening to this, please send me an email at wokewithkids@gmail.com, because I really want to know how you found out about the podcast and why so many of you are listening to it and why is of such interest. And I'm flattered. Unless you are a Russian bot who is currently disseminating this podcast merely for politically inflammatory purposes, in which case, thank you as well. I appreciate your support and patronage. The podcast is strong. The brand is strong. Trump is still president. As long as that is a fact, we will always have something to talk about. But it has been a while since we joined you. We did warn you that this month Melissa would be engaged in other activities, and she has been, and she's been doing a great job at it, but it has taken a tremendous amount of time. I'm incredibly proud of her. I saw the play. I actually saw the play. It was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I went with a young friend of mine. We both thoroughly enjoyed it. I paid American money for it, as you should. Go out and support the arts with American cash or whatever currency that you can convert into acceptable legal tender. It was dope. It was very black. It was very insightful. It was very woman. If you're in LA, I think you should try to catch a show before it ends.
One more weekend left. This Saturday, the 27th at 8, and this Sunday, the 28th at 3.
Yeah.
I know. Too bad you can't see it again because it's better. You saw it on previews.
I saw the
when
preview.
We were still working out the kinks.
Yeah.
They've been worked out.
Well, I don't know if I want to see the part where you and the three ladies rub the naked man with oil any better. I don't want to know if I want to see the fully realized version of that. I think I'm comfortable with the abstraction.
What's funny is that we laugh so much. That one is always like, what is this?
That is exactly what I felt. My exact words. So the artist spot on with its execution. Oh my God. So many things have happened in the world since we last left you. I don't even know what we were talking about 2 weeks ago. It seems like an entire universe has transpired. I do know that there's one thing I want to say, particularly if you are a black person, a Latino, or anyone who lives in one of these red states, these vast tracts of uncivilized territory, where the reach of us coastal elites has not civilized the savage beasts that you live amongst. Go out and vote, guys. Come on. This is really serious. This is it. It's like you got 2 more weeks and it's time to choose.
Early vote if you have to.
If you can vote right now, if you live in one of the places that you can vote early, you should. And you know what? That actually brings up an interesting story. One of the first stories that I want to talk about with you. It was about voting and voting rights and all of the ink, or I should say pixels, on the screen that have been devoted to discussing Republican efforts to suppress the vote.
Yeah, it's happening. They took away some rights from Native peoples in North Dakota, South Dakota.
Took them
probably North Dakota. whatever new rule and law they decided to throw out there real quick that essentially disenfranchises a whole block of voters.
What they did was they said, and this is so, no offense to you people still clinging to whiteness, but this is the whitest shit that they did. They basically instituted a rule that said that it had to be like, and they did the same thing in Georgia. Well, for the natives, they said they had to have an exact address, an exact mailing address, and it couldn't be a P.O. box. Now, of course, most of these Native Americans live on a reservation, which is sovereign land.
Oh my God.
Which is sovereign land where the post office doesn't exist because it's their own land, and they have a P.O. box. So, no, you can't use your P.O. box, Native man, so you can't vote. In Georgia, what they did with what haven't they done really? I mean, from purging voter rolls of people that they claim had not voted in a number of years to now instituting exact match laws, which mandate that if there's even a misspelling in your voter registration with your address or something, it invalidates your registration because what America clearly has is a surplus, a goddamn avalanche, a virtual hurricane. We can't handle all the voting. It's so much voting. It's just, it's out of hand.
In some areas, they weren't even extending the registration period in some of the communities that had been affected by the recent hurricane. Plus, there were opportunities to early vote, and the current governor, who's worried that he's going to lose his seat, people have been putting on their Instagram stories about how a link that was working on Monday to find early voting places no longer is available, and now you have to sign up with some sort of special ID and go to the Secretary of State website and use this ID that you never knew.
They can't hear us. Keep talking.
They didn't even know they needed, and somehow managed to then find the early polling place. So it's just become so obvious that that governor is frightened that he will lose his seat to Stacey Abrams. Abrams? What's her name?
Yeah, the beautiful black woman. Hey, is our sound on now, guys, on the live cast? Do you hear us now? Somebody give us a shout if you can hear the sound. I think that I fixed it. I hope so. So exactly what you're saying. Yeah, all these dirty tricks are being played. But I did come across this article that I thought was interesting. It comes from Slate. I always like to attribute the sources that I'm reading because this is the work of people who are doing work, who deserve recognition. This is by Richard L. Hassan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And anyways, he goes on to talk about over the weekend, President Donald Trump threatened prosecutions against basically non-existent voter fraud, which all of us can hear the dog whistle. We know what he's trying to do is scare and intimidate people from going to the polls. Well, this guy asked the question, actually, has it gotten better or worse in America? Aside from the hyperbolic way that the media reports everything now, which everything that the media says you have to take with a grain of salt. I'm not saying fake news. I'm just saying blood from a stone is what I'm saying. Like the news used to come on 3 times a day and last like a total of 3 hours. And that was all the news. And that news covered everything that we needed to know in the whole world. Now, the news is on 24 hours a day on like 15 different networks. Blood from a stone is all I'm saying. It's not fake. It's just diluted heavily. And anyways, so in many parts of the U.S., even in many Republican states, it turns out registering to vote and voting is becoming easier. It just so happens that in some key Republican states, Supreme Court decisions, notably the one that knocked down the Voter Protection Act, or gutted it essentially for all intents and purposes, have allowed states to put up new hurdles. As you were mentioning, the Native Americans in North Dakota and Alaska, the black voters in Georgia, Latinos in Dodge City, Kansas. But in other places, and here's the interesting thing. In some of these red states, they have better systems of early voting and absentee voting than we do in some of the blue states, like, or in New York, where they don't even have it at all. And it's kind of interesting that in those states where they're primarily white and they have a lot of older population, people that traditionally vote Republican, right? For them, the states go, hey man, you want to register online, mail in your ballot, vote 5 months before? Yeah, anything you want to do, buddy, whatever.
Wouldn't the real solution to any possibility of voter fraud be to make it basically one system across the board? Like everywhere can early register. If it's going to be exact match, make that for everywhere and give everyone a year ahead of time. Put the money in whatever federal agency would be there to help people. Actually have people on the ground go door to door, help people get the IDs that they need.
Make it a holiday.
Make it a holiday. Try to get everyone who is a citizen to have the proper documentation to cast their vote. Wouldn't that really be democracy, to actually try and get everyone to do? And then when you win, you'd be like, well, we put all this money.
Yes.
It's tried and true. It's vetted. Everyone got a chance.
We know it's real.
These are the results. Everybody can just deal with it, and then, accept that he or she or whoever is your president, is your council member, your senator, because we went far above and beyond to make sure that everyone who was alive and supposed to have the right to vote has an opportunity, and they were registered. We helped them get all the proper documentation so that, on election day, they had all that they needed to cast their ballot.
1,000%. In that way,
as opposed to all this other bullshit.
And the legitimacy that a Trump, for instance, is looking for would all be invested in him. And instead of this game of subterfuge where it's like, who can cheat best at the poker table? And that's funny. Right. It's funny that you mention it. And can I adjust your mic just 1 second? It's perfect except for one thing. It just needs to be tilted. Just tilt it like that so that it catches all your beautiful the bass notes and resonance. A gross oversimplification of your beauty. But, no, interesting thing. Here's a funny thing. Voting, not in the Constitution. The right to vote is not in the Constitution. I mean, and what's funny about that to me is that we talk about the founding fathers as if these motherfuckers were like nuclear rocket science geniuses, right? But if we've learned anything from Hamilton, I hope, is that these were essentially, these were essentially capitalists who are trying to figure out how to come up with enough of a system so they wouldn't fuck each other, so they can divide the country up and be rich forever. I mean, it wasn't like they were honestly concerned with the poor and the meek or whatever. I mean, or else it wouldn't have just been white landowning males who were voting, which is what it originally was, who could vote. And that's why it was invested into the states for them to regulate voting. So that way, whatever any particular locality wanted to decide is the way that we were going to allow people to vote, it allowed them to maintain control, which to me, right, is completely antithetical to democracy. It's like when you learn this kind of shit, it makes you stop looking at Russia and China and all these other places and going like, oh, they're so fucked up and what a terrible place to live. You look at your own backyard and go like, all right, our system fundamentally is a little bit fucked up too. It's a little bit contradictory, and it's a little weird. Like the 13th Amendment, I'm not saying Kanye makes any sense when he says it should be repealed, but the fact that it does allow for servitude in the case of conviction is like, you could tell their heart wasn't really in it. Kids,
I thought I heard something.
Mommy spider sense. Oh, I don't know. It's just. It's a little philosophically depressing, I guess, is what I'm saying. When you look at this country and you're like, all your life you've been taught, oh, America is a democracy. It's all about one person, one vote. The fact of the matter is that the Senate is essentially the old white man's house, right? Because you look at a map of America and you got these huge swaths of what they call red states, but nobody lives there. And when I say nobody, I mean like a fraction of the population. Most people live in cities. Most people live in the most populous centers where the work is, where the industry is, right? But where we live, it's so frustrating sometimes because everyone here agrees. And we only get the same number of senators as like all these other motherfuckers who got like 20 people in their whole state.
Well, that's where the House of Representatives comes in.
Which is why you guys got to vote. Which is why it matters. You do have to vote. We may not get the Senate.
That's why that is part of it, because the House of Representatives, can't even say the damn word, is by district. So it does matter who votes in the area where you live.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
It's
exactly.
local.
Yes. Yes.
So it does matter. Same thing with your state legislature.
Yes.
It matters that you vote where you live, because there are people who are representing your little area.
That's right.
And, the senators, not so much. It's just two people out of your whole damn state. So if you have a huge state like Texas or California, or very densely populated, New York, whatever, it's kind of just even, But for the House of Representatives, it's very localized. So you really can affect change when, if you live in a rural area, your congressperson is only 500 people that are going to yell at them, as opposed to some places will have 10,000. So if you're in one of these more loosely populated areas, your one little vote isn't so little.
That's right. So what I'm just saying to say all that, just to wrap that part up, is please go out and vote. And when I say go out and vote, I mean vote Democrat. I'm trying to be very clear with you. Like, don't go, this is not the time to go out and vote for Alibaba of the Green Party.
At this point, let's just stop the bleeding.
Yes, please.
America is dying right now.
Give somebody else subpoena power is all we're saying.
A really bad car accident, and there's just like blood and stuff everywhere.
Yes, we got evidence.
Paramedics are here, so we need to stop the bleeding and get to the emergency room. We need a crash cart, please.
Yes, please.
So let's just do that.
Oh my God. Okay.
Vote Democratic. Do your research on all your propositions for your local area, but vote Democrat just down the line, and then when another 2 years comes around, then take your time.
Yes.
But don't wait until it's happening, because whoever you're going to really like and support, in theory, should be starting to come and be part of your news.
That's right.
Now.
Yes.
So you shouldn't have to wait to the last minute. But honestly, at this point, just vote Democrat. For Jesus Christ, please.
In the name of Christ, it's a midterm.
I don't even want to talk about it. It's so upsetting. But we got to talk about Trump and the transgender thing. It's like... Oh,
yes. It's definitely time for some Trump be trumping.
It's mind-boggling to me, because this really is basic civil rights. This really should not...
no. What's really alarming is that at this point, I was so convinced that we had made some sort of cultural progress, some cultural dent, that it didn't even occur to me that the only reason that there were federal recognition of transgender people because of Obama executive orders. And then it started to occur to me, the whole time Obama was president and these conservative talking heads were exploding all over the place, popping like pimples all over the place, talking about he's a dictator, he's a tyrant, he's shoving this agenda down our throat. And then on my side, they would be like, Obama issued an executive order to make everything happy and unicorns and peace and love. And I'd be like, God damn right, Obama, execute your ass off. Go out there and put them executive orders out, because that's what and now in retrospect, I'm thinking like, that's why they allowed him. That's why he could get away with that, because it was only of his office. It didn't affect anything enshrined in law. And I know some people out there groaning because, whoa, what was that sound? And I know some people out there groaning because they know, and you always knew that, and you were like, oh, I'm not, oh my God, Yaze, well, how can you be so naive? All I'm saying is that some part of me still felt like, like decency. Once we made some sort of stride in decency, when we expanded the circle of human rights and recognition, then we didn't do backsies.
Well, but this is the thing. I don't know. It sounds almost like a echo or something now. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you pressed or something.
Me neither.
But, okay, two things. First, number one, for anyone who doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about, the Trump administration is I don't know if we can still say considering, but they are looking at essentially defining transgender out of existence. That was the headline from the New York Times.
Yes.
And they would be doing this by narrowly defining gender as a biological, immutable condition determined by genitalia at birth. And this is the most drastic move yet in a government-wide effort to roll back recognition and protections of transgender people under federal civil rights law. So essentially, if you've been living under a rock, people who identify as transgender or gender non-binary do not identify with their biological sex,
right,
the genitalia that they were born with. So let's say you were born with a vagina, you were assigned female at birth. As you become more cognizant of yourself and your body and your life in society, you're like, I don't identify as female based on how society looks at and treats females and how we are expected to act and how I feel inside and what makes me happy and what makes me feel most like myself and as a human being.
Yes.
That's not me.
That's right.
I feel like a male, but my genitalia doesn't match. Okay? And for gender non-binary, they say, you know what? Maybe I don't necessarily say I do identify as a male or as a female. I'm just saying I don't really identify my gender based on my genitalia. I'm just me. Mm-hmm. And are we still recording anything? Apparently, there are, for the most part, people have said, okay, I don't always know what that means, but I do believe that you are a human deserving of love and respect and dignity. And so if you say this is who you are, this is your identity, I'm here for it. I will try to use the correct pronouns that you are requesting of us. I think that you should be allowed healthcare and opportunity to work, to find love, have a family, you know, all the things that human beings want and should benefit from, particularly in our quote unquote first world society. Mm-hmm. They are not dangerous unless they are a dangerous person. But just the fact that they identify as transgender does not make them dangerous, does not make them, you know, evil, does not make them any different really than other people who identify as other things. So what Obama did with his executive order was say, hey, we need to put it in law, or I guess it's not law. I don't know exactly what you call an executive order, but basically these people deserve the same basic civil rights, that we are affording all other citizens. Yeah. And now Trump is saying, well, technically we're going to now put in a new executive policy that erases all of that, that says you can't choose your own identity. Your gender is based on what you were assigned at sex. At birth. We don't give a fuck how you feel on the inside. We don't care that you are willing to sometimes kill yourself because of the disconnect and the struggle to try and live in a society that only sees you one way when you are sure the same way that you are alive that you are another way. So it's crazy as we have been celebrating LGBTQIA and every other identity and rights, and as you said, we feel that we have been making these advances. Here go Trump, basically rolling it all back. And, you know, my fave, Amanda Seales, on one of her Instagram posts, she just said, and it's so ironic because this is really when Amanda kind of went viral, is when she was at that dinner with Caitlyn Jenner and kind of challenged Caitlyn on the fact that she supported Trump and this country. And Amanda was like, well, basically, you've had a very different experience up until perhaps your transition to a woman. So Amanda's post, basically all it said was, Caitlyn, Caitlyn, I done told y'all. Because at this point, Caitlyn, a person who formerly identified as a straight white male, and whatever her identity previously and now, she has become very rich in this country based on the fact that she did identify as a straight white male, and now she's been able to transition to identify as a woman, and she presents as a woman, and she says, this is really me and I'm happy. But she was still supporting Trump and was very much a staunch Republican. So here we go. The people, the president she voted for, the party that she sides with is literally saying, we are taking away any and all protections that you have based on how you truly feel you are and want to live your life.
Unbelievable.
Oh, the irony. So again, I mean, it's not about do you agree with someone's lifestyle or not. These are basic civil rights that every human citizen should be afforded. And I really hope that no one is struggling to see that and to understand that. Just accept people for who they are. Everyone deserves love and respect and a chance to live their best life.
Well, the thing is,
it really doesn't bother anyone.
It's a shame that we have to make that pitch even
right. That trans rights are humans' rights.
Because the fact of the matter is, even if you have to, I mean, who is really gonna affect more is black and brown trans people. Like, I mean, if it has to be something personal and something that you have to personally attach yourself to, then do it for race pride, y'all. Because the fact of the matter is that these white boys who want to transition are always going to be able to transition. Just like abortion rights. Abortion rights are really brown and black women's. I'm not saying white women don't use them and they don't need them. Poor women in general, actually, I should say. But the rich people have always had access to them. And if they take away abortion rights, rich people will still have access to them. In the same way that right now, the reason that doctors are concerned, and this came to us from the Atlantic, which I always love, even though Ta-Nehisi Coates is no longer with them. I may have to restart this live cast. Hold on, guys. I got to restart the live cast because this page is bugging out. Hold on.
Bugging. Thanks for bearing with us, podcast listeners.
Yes,
because we're not bugging on y'all.
No, never.
And that rapping, yes, is me eating now and later.
Yum.
So sorry about that.
Yum.
I'm actually sorry, not sorry. To be completely honest, sometimes you just gotta get them.
Oh my goodness.
Just gotta get some now and laters.
And Inyaze Part 2, episode 107. That's me starting the live cast again. So interesting for the podcast listeners. Okay, here we go.
Thank you for hanging with us. Okay, back to why are doctors worried?
Yeah, so doctors are worried essentially because one of the key provisions in the Obamacare, was that the branch of the health department called the Office for Civil Rights would investigate discrimination against gender when if it feared like insurers or hospitals or something were treating people differently.
Gender identity, that is the thing. We have to be clear on that.
Correct. Exactly. So the new definition would almost directly affect a portion of the Affordable Care Act called Section 1557, which was the basis of the Obama administration's investigations into discrimination against trans people. This section prohibits any health program or entity that receives federal funding from discriminating against people on the basis of race, color, national origin, disability, age, sex, or sex. Under Obama, he mandated that sex include gender identity. And that is the key of the change that Trump wants to make by defining sex
and what
as
they're saying
your
as well,
genitalia
these
at
health
birth.
Issues, it's not always, I want to transition, pay for it. That is not what we're talking about.
Well, look, check this out.
We're saying they want to get a pap smear, or they want to get a diabetes check, or they need an x-ray. But if you are trans, they can then decide that we're not going to offer any of the health benefits that you should be receiving.
Well, exactly. And there are so many circumstances. Scientifically, scientists tell you that sex and gender are different, and that the sexual genitalia even that people are born with is on a spectrum. I mean, I'm not trying to be crude or anything, and I hope it doesn't sound it, but like, there are intersex people. There are people born with mixed genitalia, with both genitalia. What do we classify these people as now? I mean, it's not, nature doesn't make mistakes, right? So if it just boggles the mind when the hubris of human beings, where we're like, if I write it and we put words down and say it is this, then that will make it this. It doesn't change the reality of the people who are living this experience. That's all. It's just.
And, you know, although a lot of it can relate to gender reassignment or the drugs, hormone drugs that they might be taking, no one should worry about going to the doctor and having someone roll their eyes at you, or talk down to you, or talk to you like you don't know anything, or you're not worthy of their time because of what your gender identity is.
Listen, if these women,
the doctor getting paid, who the fuck do you care?
If men and women, and I say men and women, if men and women can walk into a plastic surgeon's office and ask them to put silicone in their booty and pump up their pecs and saline and this and Botox in their eyeballs and all this kind of shit in order to look good for you, all right, if they can do all that.
And this idea that
then why? Yeah, if somebody wants to reassign their genitalia, if somebody wants to reassign the nerve endings at the end of their genitalia, but who gives a fuck?
But some people don't even want to do that.
Some people don't even want to do that. Some people, right? I was even in Random Acts of Flying. It's one of the dope things when that dude was talking. He was like, a lot of times I don't even dress up. Sometimes I have to dress as a woman in order to present as trans, even though it's not something I necessarily want to.
And right, no one should have to do that because it's your fucking identity. Like, you just like every other person gets to just wear whatever they want. You know, we shouldn't feel that the society is owed an explanation every time you walk out the door. Yeah, just let a person go to work and do their business and go home and do whatever they want to do. It doesn't hurt anybody else.
If you're gonna let your homegirl walk around with concrete with cement glue in her booty cheeks, you gotta keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Keep the same energy. Just keep the same energy. I think
the whole, what is it saying? Do you?
Let everyone be themselves. Let everyone be who they truly are inside. If that woman,
at the same time, be able to work, live, provide for their families, get health care, contribute, pay the fucking taxes. Not like these motherfuckers are not trying to pay taxes. They're trying to live a super regular, normal life.
Boring, in fact.
Very boring.
They just want to live a life and fall in love and get married and be disappointed like everybody else.
So,
good gracious.
Anywho, I'm not even sure who we need to call on that yet.
Jesus, it's just
scary
gross.
Though.
It's gross. Okay, so also we're all gonna die because Trump is pulling out of Cold War era nuclear arms treaty that was signed by President Reagan, the first douchebag that I ever knew to be president, and Gorbachev, and they signed a treaty basically banning the production of missiles that could go anywhere 400 miles to whatever beyond that. Basically anything that can be launched from countries at us. Particularly Cuba. If you guys ever watch that X-Men movie, I know you don't pay attention to history. Let's not be ridiculous. But so he's pulling out of that, and he threatened to build more nuclear arms, and he said let's have an arms race basically until they come to their senses, and because that always works when you just start stockpiling guns and shit down the street, your neighbors immediately start going, you know what? We should really all just relax and leave George alone. He's just over there. He's hurting inside. I don't know what. I can't believe this man is president. This shit is crazy, y'all. This your king? You good with this? You good with look, I'm not naive. I know Russia is full of shit and they're trying to build all the weapons in the world and all this kind of stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just saying, can't we just do the shit quietly? Can't we just tell the CIA and the NSA just to build some nukes very quietly and just keep them tucked away in the back pocket and not make any announcements? Why do we have to? I thought the whole Trump thing was like, I move in silence like the G in lasagna. I mean, I don't understand. Why is he announced? I mean, this is your foreign policy? What are we doing? Destabilizing our currency with tariffs against China? The place that sold you all the goddamn shit that you needed at Walmart? And now all of a sudden everything is more expensive? Do you notice? Do you like it? The Dow was dipping like 500 points every goddamn other day. Remember when the Dow was just ripping up money, just making so much money? And now it's just every day it's another. And then I read Bloomberg and I read all these places and everyone's like, well, it's just a correction. It's just a small dip, small dip correction. It's just a correction. We're just finding the floor is all we are. And it's probably got some more bounce in it. I think we're going to get a little more. You know all that saying is? They're saying all the rich people are sweeping the crumbs off the floor right now. Sweeping the goddamn crumbs off the floor of the feeding frenzy after the tax cut, which made them all goddamn quadrillionaires. And now they are sweeping up the tax crumbs. And then Trump comes out here 2 weeks before the election talking about, I'm going to give the middle class a 10% tax cut. Nigga, where were you? Where were you when I needed you? President Trump. If you have to be my president, this shit is insulting now. Not 2 weeks before the election. Now you talking about I'm gonna give you a tip. I mean, how cheap am I? How cheap am I?
His rating went back up to 47%. His rating went back up 2 weeks before the election.
Oh my God! I don't know how many.
It's just crazy.
I'm not saying that.
It's kind of crazy.
I don't hate anybody, but God damn it, whoever's out there supporting
somebody. I love Charles M. Blow, the activist and journalist.
Oh yeah, he's great.
His Instagram is so petty. It's hilarious.
What he put up there?
He posted a photo of Trump walking somewhere, and the comb over was just like crazy how much hair was just blowing, but wasn't really like coming from his head.
That's funny.
I mean, Lord.
Oh wow. No,
and he said, "Oh, so you mean comb over?
Oh my God.
Just let it go and let God. You can't have 15 strands 15 inches long. Just shave it, sir. Bald is a perfectly acceptable option. Trust me, I know." That's actually The Daily Show posted it, and he reposted it. The Daily Show said one of the worst cover-ups in the history of cover-ups.
Jesus Christ. I wish that we could just make fun of him. I wish that I could just satisfy myself with just impugning his eminently deridable fucking physical appearance, but he's such an evil person. It's a disgusting corpus surrounding an even more brutally disgusting spirit and soul. This motherfucker just came out and touted U.S. air quality with 2016 maps drawn under the Obama era. Okay. I'm just like, ew, you're just icky with this shit. Like, he doesn't care if you know or not.
Why is it so obvious?
It's so disgusting. And now also, this is the other big thing we gotta talk about before we move on from Trump, because it's so much Trump shit. We could just talk about that all goddamn day. He's talking about they're not gonna bail out Puerto Rico now, talking about Puerto Rico's, basically treating Puerto Rico like a goddamn third world country instead of the American ass motherfucking protectorate that it is, with American citizens in there. And he's not gonna be satisfied until he turns the whole goddamn thing into a Trump resort. And I see the writing on the wall, but it is what it is. No, the migrant caravan. Okay, guys, have you heard about this? The migrant caravan. Are you scared? Are you terrified yet? This Honduran murder death camp, Al Qaeda infiltrated fucking pilgrimage of B movie murder death kill that's coming up, because north is up. Anyways, basically coming across the border to do God knows what. I guess rape us all. I don't know. But Trump is talking about it, so he wants you to know, and this is important, honey. You haven't been keyed in on this. This is the new talking point, and this is what his people are telling him is playing well in the heartlands, in the bloody red lands. Is that they're afraid? Is that they think that Soros is funding this migrant caravan? It's thousands of people deep. They're getting
Soros
a check.
The only one that can fund anything.
Soros is goddamn Tony Stark to them. He is like the boogeyman, I guess. But it's thousands of them. I don't know how they're distributing checks. Do they all have bank accounts? These paid protesters, they're taking it really, really far.
Oh my God.
But I mean, people who are basically the victims. Okay, God damn it, it's so much. It's so hard to get to. It's just so much, guys. The globalist nationalist shit that he just came out on talking about. I'm a nationalist. Yeah, we hear you, motherfucker. We know what you mean. Dog whistle. But the reason he wants to be a nationalist now is because it's very convenient to forget the fact that America has been fucking with the rest of the world for goddamn decades and since World War II. Ever since World War II, we have been sticking our fucking phallic symbology into everyone else's. This is why there's McDonald's in Russia, okay? This is why the Middle East is at war. This is why Israel and Palestine are carved up, because at the end of World War II, America, England, Russia carved up the world. And now all of a sudden we got amnesia. We want to act like, oh no, we didn't fuck Honduras up. We didn't have nothing to do with any of those cartels.
We totally fucked up El Salvador.
Jesus Christ, y'all. We can't do this, y'all. We can't do this, man. We can't. These white people will lead us off a goddamn cliff of ignorance and ahistorical bullshit.
That's
so yes, of course it sounds great to be a nationalist right now, because oh yeah, I don't remember any of that shit. Just like right now, every young man wants to forget that there was a rape culture that he came from and his daddy came from. Yeah, just like in Random Acts of Flight, Nunca Land, we'll never grow up and that and all this shit. It's like, no, everyone has to grow up. Everyone has to wake up and realize America is a colonial power. We just do it different. We're an imperial global power, and we exert global power. And either Trump is a mad genius who wants to dismantle the military industrial complex of the United States, and secretly he's just some sort of fucking peacenik that wants to break this whole shit down. Or the more likely thing is he doesn't understand how this shit works. He doesn't know how it works.
No.
He doesn't understand the very delicate networks and alliances and treaties. He's a businessman who is coming in here and swinging his fucking businessman dick and thinking, oh, if I make a big enough stink and demand my way, I'm going to get it.
Somebody will make some profit.
Oh, my Jesus.
We'll make some money. And the whole shit will fall apart.
The reason we don't give a fuck about the Saudi Arabian journalist who was murdered in a Saudi Arabian consulate in Turkey.
In the damn consulate,
in front of Malcolm X Street, y'all. In front of no, that's in front of the U.S. consulate. Sorry. Anyways, he was murdered, and then tried to say it was because he got in a fist fight.
That's insane.
And then tried to blame it on the blackest ass military general I've ever seen claim to be a Saudi. All this shit so that their current smooth ass crown prince, MBS, whatever his name is, doesn't have to take responsibility for the fact that he is a tyrannical dictator who does not tolerate any type of dissension or any type, because so coincidental that this journalist had just given a speech talking about why the Middle East needs free speech. Oh, what a coincidence, right? It's not Wakanda, y'all. It's not fucking Wakanda. All right. He's not the Black Panther. These are brutal, repressive military dictators who don't give a fuck about feelings. And the worst part of this, the hypocrisy of it, is you got evangelicals, you got everyone all defending this shit, all supporting Trump, all so that we can make $100 billion arms sales to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, the same country that supplied 9 of the 11 fucking hijackers. Correct my math, I'm wrong. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a while. But not 9/11 of them. But like fucking the majority of the 9/11 hijackers. Saudis. Okay? These are our friends. This is your foreign policy. This is what we're doing. Guys, I want to just enjoy my tax
honestly,
cuts.
I don't even know what to say. Like, honestly.
It's just so much. It's so much. Everything is connected.
I was dreading this part of the cat. I mean, how do I dread coming to my own podcast? Because and there's still more word stuff. There's still shit to talk about. Oh, it's 11:11. Okay, so yeah. Yeah.
It's so much, man.
I don't know what to say.
No, it's so much, yo. So it's so like it's all connected. We can't become the tortoise in the shell. It doesn't work that way. We're still in all these countries killing people. We're still at war. Yeah, all right, don't forget that. We're still at war everywhere. Okay, fuck it. I'm done. I can't do this Trump shit no more.
Okay, I need to laugh.
All right, let's go.
Or we need some yes, y'all. Which one?
I'm definitely down with some yes, y'all.
Okay, but there's still a little bit of catching hell, but it was not totally bad.
Okay.
So let me just get that one out of the way.
Okay.
I know y'all heard about this white bitch. Sorry for anybody who claims whiteness. Named Teresa Klein, who claimed that a young boy, a 9-year-old black boy, sexually assaulted her in the bodega.
This is the part I was dreading.
This old bitch thought this little boy was out of his mind enough to touch her booty. Her probably flat as a pancake booty. I'm sorry. I had to go there. I'm sorry. He's 9. What 9-year-old want to touch an old white lady's butt?
What?
I mean, it just... Hello? What planet are you fucking on?
What?
Okay. So, when she confronted him and the mom, they were like, no, he didn't touch his butt. This boy clearly has a backpack on, and it's It's a bodega.
It's like a convenience store. It's a convenience store. Yeah.
It's small, narrow aisles. Yes. So it's very much within reason that something may have touched her butt, but it wasn't his hand and it was not intentional. And that is as much as what the young boy and his mother tried to explain to her. Well, this bitch decided, of course, she knew better, couldn't trust the black people, and decided to call the police. And she said, I was just assaulted by a child. Bitch, are you even hearing the words you are saying? Really? That's where your head is at today?
Yep.
That's where your head is at, bitch? She could have been any color. This really is not about her being white, only in the sense that clearly 2018 has just shown the biggest spotlight on how much white people call the police on black people for basically trying to live their own damn life.
Yes.
Okay? So fast forward to they look at the surveillance tape.
Yep.
Like, okay, let's prove the shit. Well, the surveillance video shows, in fact, that this little boy did not grab her butt and that this woman was completely in the wrong. Completely in the wrong. And, you know, the police came and no one was arrested, et cetera, et cetera. And my favorite part, actually, as well, you know, to say she did do a public apology. But, I mean, there's really no excuse. Come on, as an adult, for you to try to insist that this young child assaulted you and not take his and his mother's word for it, considering the circumstances of the backpack and the small space. But my favorite part was the little boy who basically said, when asked, do you forgive this woman?
I don't forgive this woman at all. I think she was crazy. I think she had something going on with her.
Clearly.
She had a special ill. Mm-hmm. Well, and she needs help, and she really needs help for that.
Okay. Okay. The children know. The child knows. For any adult to try and insist that this little boy touched her butt and wouldn't let it go, called the police and the whole 9, something is clearly wrong with you, Teresa. And a lot of these other white people. Which then brings me to all of our fave, Niecy Nash. Have you seen her video?
No.
So she must have got together with the homies and they made a video basically advertising a new number that white people can call when they would normally want to call 911 out of fear or that, you know, a black person was doing things.
Okay.
And they were like, I don't know what's happening right now. And the number is, okay.
No for a charcoal grill. No charcoal grills are allowed.
You need to post this or something.
Please leave me alone.
You're white. African American.
Illegally selling water without a permit?
But with cell phone cameras and social media, calling 911 on your black or brown neighbors just isn't what it used to be. Hi, I'm Niecy Nash, actress, inventor, and advocate for not calling 911 on black people for no goddamn reason. I'd like to introduce you to a radical new product that will save you all the headaches of being filmed and outed as a racist douche. It's called 1-844 White Fear, and it's revolutionizing the way racist white people cope with black people living life near them.
1-844 White Fear. There's a black guy outside my neighbor's house, and he's walking around.
Our experienced staff.
So she's got a call center full of black people to answer these calls.
Darren here is a former Obama.
No for a charcoal grill. No charcoal grill.
So it goes on where you call and you say, oh my God, there's this black person on da 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 da. And then they quickly Google them and be like, oh, that's actually your neighbor Michael. Or another one calls and say, oh, you know what? Black people can own boats now, so don't you worry about that guy on the yacht. It's quite wonderful. Anyway, it was hilarious, and it was just some much needed levity regards to this really disturbing pattern of people calling the police on black people just trying to go about their business.
Yeah, yeah.
So, are you reposting it on our Facebook page?
I will. No, I will.
I'll do one of those things.
Yeah, we'll do that in a minute.
Anyway, it made me laugh. Otherwise, I'd have to keep on crying. And I guess I'm just really glad that, that I hope that woman maybe learned even a small little lesson. Like maybe you can actually trust black people when they say they didn't do the crime that you are so insistent that they did. Maybe. And I hope that be a lesson to someone else. I mean, again, for all these another woman a few weeks back tried to block a black dude from getting in the apartment.
Yeah,
this motherfucker lived there. And then, of course, he recorded her, thank goodness. And it's funny to me, or not funny, but it's interesting. And that's what makes the sketch that Niecy Nash does so hilarious, is that white people have yet to really catch on that you are now risking your job. If you're going to insist that you know better and that insist that this black person is committing a crime so much so that you need to call the police, consider the fact that if you are wrong, you're just going to look racist and you might lose your job, which is what happened to the woman who tried to block a man from entering an apartment building that he lived in. I mean, and again, he showed her the entry and said, I live here and here, and somehow that's not enough. So fine, we all have our suspicions. We all see people and we make snap judgments. But once the person says the truth, or what they are saying is the truth, I mean, weigh that with some real discernment. You know, how much more difficult is it to lie and sound that believable? I mean, how about when he comes to your apartment and is insisting that you let him in? That's when you say, no, I don't trust you anymore. But if the motherfucker said he lived there and he has the fob to get in and he says, this is me, who are you to say that that's not him? I mean,
and also, if you think through the crime, it's like, wait, you're coming into a building that has some sort of restricted entry, some sort of restricted entry. And so the man, once he's in there, you let him in. You can call the cops from your apartment and be like, there's a man that just came in my building.
But that's the thing, too. She didn't just let him in. He let himself in. Right. She was just trying to keep him from coming in.
Well, yeah. Yes. There's that, too. I mean, there's that part, too.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, they're skipping multiple steps of logic.
Yes.
Over and over and over. Like, if you work at CVS and somebody come in with coupons, why would you call the police on them for trying to use said coupons?
Yes.
Your hand shaking. Why are you scared? This is your job to run the coupon. You know what I mean? Like, it's just over and over and over. Okay. They're at the pool. Since when is wearing socks in the pool a crime? Not just a crime, but a crime worthy of calling the police. Mm-hmm. Really? Socks in the pool? Why is that? The chlorine couldn't kill any. So somehow the socks is worse than people's bare ass, dirty ass feet? In the pool? Is that what we're saying now?
Absolutely.
That the fibers of cotton in the socks are somehow worse than the athlete's feet and other germs on the actual feet? So much so that you need to call the police? I mean, where is the fucking logic here, people? That's why it's racist. Because you're so blinded to just basic facts, basic reasonable, thinking. And you're so insistent that there is a crime being committed and that you are the one that's right. That every fucking crazy ass white person has been deputized. Sorry, not anymore. Not in 2018. Call 1-844 white fear, WYT fear. And that's how, that's all you got. That's all you got. Otherwise, you might lose your damn job.
I'm excited.
And who's the dummy then?
I'm excited and I'm dancing over here. That's all good points, honey. I was enjoying your read. But I did a little technical thing and I figured out how to put her iPhone into the I don't
want that. Why would you put my iPhone on here?
It's not on there all the time, only if you want to play a video. Now if you want to play a video from IG, I can stream it into our live cast. Oh yeah, I did that.
I don't like that. Now y'all can just see all my business.
Nobody can see it until you play it, until I tell it and go live.
Okay. Well.
So I wouldn't do that to you, honey. I don't want anybody to know about your weird likes and follows. And
it's not like Instagram doesn't show Melissa like this, Melissa like that. It's all on there.
Okay, guys, let me change it up for you. Let me tell you some real shit, okay? Because I love science. I'm gonna start giving y'all some science stuff. Because
do you have any more yeses, y'all? I got one more. Rihanna turned down performing at the Super Bowl halftime in support of Colin Kaepernick.
That's right. Guess you know who else did that? Amy Schumer.
Oh, really?
Amy
and so
Schumer.
Did Kia. Is that the rapper singer name? Somebody that we don't especially care about.
Yeah.
But somebody else did it too.
Well, anyways, I'm just glad that white women are trying to make up for letting Trump get elected.
Why would Amy Schumer be performing at the halftime show? Since when do non-musicians do that? That's weird. What would her halftime show be?
Let me find what the actual thing was. Amy Schumer.
That's a little weird, but hey.
Amy Schumer supports Kaepernick, turns down Super Bowl ads.
Oh, ads.
Okay. So she showed her solidarity the way that she could show it, and I appreciate it. She's also pregnant. She also announced that she's having her first
good for her.
Child.
She got married a while ago.
She got married, so good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're doing your damn thing.
Are we not talking about Hurricane Michael? Yeah, I'm tired of black people catching hell. I'm really sorry.
I know. It's her. I don't. What can we say about hurricanes? They're awful, and Trump ain't gonna do shit about them.
And the black and brown and poor always get disenfranchised, and but if it's white people grabbing supplies, it's not looting, as they call them in Katrina. All that kind of stuff.
That's right. Okay. Well, they found plastic in our poop. Yeah. You got plastic in your poop right now, guys, because of all the plastic that our food is surrounded by and that our water is contained in. But scientists say it's fine. They say you're fine.
This is the story. Okay.
I just want you to know that. I have nothing to add. It's just science.
I was never going to be able to sleep without that info.
You got poop and you got plastic in your poop, just like the fish. They say they got like micro stuff. Yeah, you got that in you. All right, it's in there right now.
Okay.
The caravan has reached Mexico, so that means any day now we will be taken over by migrants, some of whom may be Al Qaeda, according to the president and Mike Pence. So that's awesome. What else is going on? Let me see. What else did I save in here for like black news? Andrew Gillum was in a debate with Ted Cruz. He did well, I'm told. I mean, I want him to win, but whatever. You know what I mean? Not Ted Cruz, sorry, wrong guy. Andrew Gillum was in a debate with his opponent for governor of Florida, whose name is not Ted Cruz.
Is that the DeSantis guy?
That sounds more right. Yes, DeSantis. That's exactly right. The other boring white guy. So apparently he did a good job. He acquitted himself very well. So yay. I hope he becomes governor of Florida. That would be so awesome. It'd be great if Florida became like Blurple. You know what I'm saying? That would really be a kick in the nuts to the GOP, which would be just my dream come true.
I mean,
this holiday season.
Blurple. I mean, I don't know if just because the governor is black doesn't mean it's Blurple, but
it doesn't. But I'm just saying, I think that would be a good tip in the right direction.
But what would be awesome is if he got rid of Stand Your Ground in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
that might help black people.
I don't know if he can get rid of stuff. He is just the executive, and they have to pass laws and stuff. But I agree, he could. I mean, use the bully pulpits.
But he working with the people now.
Yeah, he could use the bully pulpit to move public opinion. Possibly, I don't know. That was a lot of peep pop 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 poop pop sounds. Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Are you okay?
I'm good. It's been a long day. I'm not gonna lie to you, and this is probably my fourth or fifth splash of wine. What else is there to talk about? I mean, I've been reading a lot of tech stuff, like augmented reality glasses are coming north. They're coming. You're gonna be able to like check your phone with eyeglasses. They're gonna be $1,000. They're gonna fit them to your face. They're gonna be custom made. I expect Beyonce and Jay-Z will have some. No, it's a real thing. Check it out, guys. It's a totally real thing. Where they're going to like have these glasses, and you'll be able to like see things in your field of vision, and it'll tell you like, you know.
Is that what you want? Like, is that something like you're a techie guy?
Actually I do.
Yeah,
actually I do.
love that.
Yeah, actually this looks pretty cool. And it has a ring that comes with it that allows you to gesture and like have sort of interactions with the thing. I think it's really elegant. A ring and some glasses to interact with your own private reality. I think that's probably the best case scenario that we're going to get. And I think right now I think right now we have the worst case scenario, which is we have these devices, but you have to look at them every time you want to interface with them. And so whenever you're talking to somebody, it's just a bunch of assholes always looking at their phone. You know what I mean? And or like if you want to, you know, you go to the club now or go to any type of social event or anything that involves any type of exposure to anything looking vaguely cool, and people are mostly in their own worlds, like taking selfies of themselves so that they can commemorate this moment because everything has to extend to the social dimension. And I'm saying that's fine if that's what it has to be, but I think there are less obtrusive ways to get that done, you know? So if we're all going to be assholes, I'm just looking for the most efficient way to do it, I think is what I'm saying. I don't know. I there's a lot of things. Other things. There's something else we need to talk about.
Excuse me. I don't know. You were
Sarah
saying
Silverman.
that you had a lot to talk about.
I know, but it's so much that it sometimes gets a little overwhelming. Sarah Silverman said that she let Louis C.K. masturbate in front of her. What do you think of that? That par for the course.
I mean, I don't know. What do you mean? What do I think? Do I think she's telling the truth?
No. I mean,
she undermines the other women's
that part.
stories. I did read the article.
That part.
No. I mean, she talks about how they were friends, and sometimes it was, he did it consensually with her, and sometimes she said no, and he didn't do it. But there was an exchange with one of Louis C.K.'s accusers, who basically made the point that, he didn't really have anything to offer her as well, because that's what Sarah Silverman said. He didn't have anything to offer me. But that doesn't on set. That
word equals.
But that doesn't take away that he is a sexual predator and did significantly harm some women's lives and careers.
Yeah.
And Sarah was quick to kind of apologize and really regret that she said it, and that it's basically impossible for her to go on any type of interview to promote her own show without people bringing up her relationship with Louis C.K., because she's known him for probably like 20 years. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think the fact that she didn't try to double down and somehow say that he's a good guy. She never said anything like that. Like, oh, he's a good guy, and it was always consensual with me. I mean, she just shared that story. Mm-hmm. But to me, from what I heard and read, she did not make any excuses for his behavior. She did nothing to undermine what the other women who have accused him of the harassment have said, and the type of harm that he has caused to them. And she really just is like, it's gross, and I wish that I didn't even have to deal with it, because it has kind of like nothing to do with her.
Right on.
And she didn't really want to be put in that position. She was just sharing a story because someone else brought up her relationship with Louis C.K. and the whole thing. So to me, it doesn't necessarily take any of the validity away from the women who have accused him, and basically caused him to lose his show and his whatever, which did he even really lose his popularity, because he's back already.
Yeah. Tracy Chapman is suing Nicki Minaj.
For what?
Because Nicki Minaj tried to make a jam out of a Chapman song.
Which one?
Baby, I
got your number?
Yeah, I think it's Baby, I Got Your Number.
And not Pay Her?
No, not that one. Baby, Can I Hold You? It's Baby Can. No, it's the song Baby Can I Hold You? Mm-hmm. That one, yeah. And yeah, so she tried to make a jam out of it, and Tracy was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that."
And she did it anyway?
It got leaked. It got released somehow on Hot 97.
Ooh,
yeah.
Sue her, girl, sue her.
So I think
sue her.
Tracy gonna get paid. So
good.
Whoopi Goldberg said that some actresses sleep with ugly men to get ahead, and if you do it, cop to it. Your opinion? What does the woman delegation say?
What, that you have to admit it?
Is it woke or not? Yeah. If women are sleeping with powerful men to get access and privilege or whatever, should they admit it, Is that an act of bravery?
I don't think it has anything to do with why they do it. If you want to talk about who you sleep with, then talk about who you sleep with. And if you don't want to talk about who you're sleeping with, then don't talk about who you're sleeping with. And it's nobody's fucking business who you slept with and why you did it, unless you want to talk about it.
So you're saying fuck Whoopi Goldberg is what you're saying?
That's clearly not what I'm saying.
I'm just joking. But you're saying fuck that opinion. Fuck that particular sentiment.
I mean, Whoopi, but at the same time, Whoopi can say what the fuck she want to say. I mean, she's not outing people.
Yeah.
She's not like, and I know you slept with so and so. That would be crossing the line. But I mean, she's obviously an opinionated person. She should be, aren't we all? She's on the damn View or whatever the fucking show it is.
Right.
So it's not surprising that she would have an opinion.
Okay.
I just
Kanye
don't understand
West.
why anyone thinks anyone should admit their sexual business if
I guess
that person doesn't want to.
I guess maybe what the point she was trying to make is that if women admitted to it, then it would bring visibility to the sort of the practice or whatever. It would maybe
Who doesn't know that some bitches sleep with ugly dudes to get shit, to get something, money, a nice dinner. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
It's a good thing I'm so handsome. That's why I'm secure.
This is the oldest thing. I don't understand what
That's
she's
why
saying.
I'm secure.
Nobody's
because I'm
confused
so
on that.
Kanye West donated $73,540 to mayoral candidate Amara Inyia after his other rap buddy Chance the Rapper publicly endorsed her. The thing about Amara is that she's not currently running for mayor anymore because she got fined a number of times and couldn't come up with the money to pay it, so she had to actually suspend her campaign. So I think the money that he has donated is just being used to pay off her campaign, but he did give this money to her. And my question to you now is all forgiven?
Of course not.
Okay, just checking in. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. I mean, there's so much more that I could get into, but to be honest with you, I'm extremely tired.
What's this? Can we talk about this St. Louis woman, the one who wouldn't let the black man come into his apartment? She says the racist label cut deep.
Oh, yes.
But she would block the man from entering his apartment again.
Oh, sorry. The people couldn't even see us. Yes.
Sorry, we're just following up since we already brought it up.
Good point. Oh, good point. She appeared. Let's see if there's any video. Watch more in the video below. Let's check it out, guys.
Oh, God. We have to look at her face.
Check it out.
We are hearing the other side of a story.
Wait, that's not. You can't hear that.
Can you scroll back up a little?
Yeah, hold on.
I just want to read this real quick.
Make sure that they can actually hear this. Scroll up. Okay, we're scrolling up.
Oh, it said he did not have his key fob. Mm-hmm. Forcing his way in, and she let her dog out to use the bathroom. She didn't recognize him, refused to let him in.
You can read it out loud, baby.
I just did.
Okay, I sound quiet to me, but okay. Let's look at this. Let's see what she said.
Oh, can't. Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. Do what you're doing.
I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. Let's play this thing. Let's see what let's see what her.
I just wanted to correct my mistakes in what I thought was the story.
Oh, fair enough.
And forced his way inside. She reached out to me to tell her side of the story after being called a racist and receiving death threats. It's an exclusive interview you will see only on Fox 2 tonight.
Oh, God, Fox. Standing up.
My building.
Standing up.
Okay.
It's my building as well, so I need you to get out my way.
Okay.
This is the viral video of Hillary Thornton trying to stop Darian Tolles from entering the Elder Shirt Lofts just off Washington in the city. Thornton wanted people to know her side of what happened.
So when I noticed an individual that I did not know, my only intent was to follow the direction that I've been given by our condo association board members repeatedly, and that is to never allow access to any individual that you do not know.
Thornton showed us
But who the fuck knows everyone in the building?
Should do when dealing with a situation like this. Hillary says Dorian said he was trying to get into the building as
Okay. All right. Okay.
Can you just go back up, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Just
there
right there. You can talk.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else to say. I think that all spoke for itself. Why don't you just read what you're reading, and that way everybody
It's
will
the
know.
whole article.
Yeah. All right. The incident unfolded last Friday when Thornton says neighbor Darian Jones did not have a key fob to get inside. Okay. So basically, all she's saying, she's basically saying that he didn't have a key fob and that he forced his way through, and that the reason we didn't see that in the tape is because the camera was pointed at the ground, and that's the part where she says, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And then he says, "Go ahead, call the police." She recalled. And that she argues that the man had a key. He could have used it to get inside. They keep calling him the man, even though he has a name. I think that is very telling. And Thornton then followed Tolles all the way up to the apartment, only realized he had keys to open the door. It wasn't long before her employer, Tribeca STL, caught wind of the disturbing interaction and fired Thornton for racial profiling. The company does not own the property where the incident occurred. Boom. She doesn't think she did anything wrong, she said. Okay, so there's that. Sorry to bring that back up, but yeah, this woman, she keeps opening her mouth. She's like on a world tour now to talk about the shit now.
Okay. Weirdness. Weird. I mean, I don't know. Is this crazy? So when the person said, first of all, if you're not the building manager, how do you expect to know everyone in the building?
Yeah.
Let's just start there.
Again, I don't know why, if she really thought he was a danger, why she thought interposing herself in the doorway in the entrance was somehow going to...
Again, if you really thought he was trying to rob people, you would get your little fucking dog and get to your place. Make sure that he didn't follow you to your motherfucking apartment.
Thank you.
I have no reason to think, honestly, that she was in any fear because this bitch followed him.
No fear.
Okay, she following this motherfucker. Who follows someone that you think, if you see someone dangerous, why would you follow them? That's fucking movie shit. Are you in a fucking movie, bitch? No. So again, if your thing was to follow him,
but you know what? It's a movie, but it's not even that movie where the woman is doing something dumb. It's the movie where the black dude is being chased by an evil vampiress. And this bitch turns out to be a monster that swallows him whole.
This is the other thing. Okay, so if your theory is, okay, he didn't have his key fob, I don't believe it, and I'm going to follow him and see where he goes, wouldn't you, why get aggressively confrontational until after you see that he's wandering the building? If she had just let him in and followed him, he went straight to his fucking apartment and unlocked it. So again, this idea that you deserve to have your questions answered when you are just no position of power, nothing, is absurd to me. And I think she could have avoided all that drama if she just hadn't tried to fucking police motherfuckers when you're not the damn police. Am I crazy? Isn't that basically how it goes? Stop trying to police people if you're not the fucking police. If you want to be the police, go take the test.
That's right.
If you want to roll up on motherfuckers you don't know and tell them what they can and cannot do, go take the fucking test. Get your badge.
Indeed.
Okay? Then you can still be wrong some of the times. I said sometimes.
So Kanye West recently went to Africa. All right. And
side note, you know that she said she would do it again and the racism cut deep, but she didn't say nothing about I'm mad that I lost my job. What?
She fuck that job. She about to be working at Nationalist Rental Enterprises. You know what I'm saying? She is good.
I just realized that there was no part of oh man, I lost my job. She said I'd do it again.
Yes, they deserve to die.
I hope they burn it. You do need that clip.
I do need that clip. God dang it. Oh, I'm getting it next time. Jesus.
Okay.
Oh man, I haven't used any clips. Yeah, hold on. That's right. Kick your ass for messing with me, goddammit. Not that you guys on the live cast can hear my samples. So Kanye West recently went to Africa. I don't know if you guys pay attention to Kanye West. Or
nobody pays attention to Kanye anymore.
Anyways, he went to Africa with his wife, and he showed off his wife to this African dictator named Yoweri Museveni. And it looked kind of dope for a minute. Everybody was, I'm not going to front. Going to Africa, I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're going to Chicago, then you go to Africa. You're trying to get your cookout passes lined up. The only problem is that this nigga here, this Museveni, sound like Mussolini. I'm sorry, that's what I want to say. Museveni basically has caused all the bad shit in Africa since like 1960. Like all the bad shit.
He seized power by the gun way back in 1986 when Ronald Reagan was the U.S. president. He dreams of controlling other African countries, so he invaded Rwanda in 1990, leading to the genocide in 1994. He invaded Congo in 1997, leading to a series of wars that have claimed the lives of more than 6 million people. And he invaded South Sudan in 2013. Damn, wasn't that right after they became an independent country? And the death toll was estimated at nearly 300,000. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Today in Uganda, where the youth make up 80% of the population, unemployment is 85%. 85%. That's almost 100.
And Kanye is handing out sneakers. Nigga, fuck your sneakers. Open a factory. If you so big and bad, open a factory. He's 76 years old. He's been lit. He's been in power for 36. There's a 36-year-old rising political star and entertainment artist named Bobby Wine, who's been leading a resistance against him. I don't know.
He's leading the youth resistance that 76-year-old Museveni resigned.
Yes, he's been tortured. He's been.
I don't want to say so much that I've canceled Kanye as opposed to. I guess there's no other word. I just don't like using, like cancel. But he's nothing he says or does has any relevancy for me anymore.
Yeah.
There is nothing he can say or do based on what he has been saying and doing for the past year.
That's about right.
So it's not even that I cancel him. I just couldn't care less. Like, I could not care any less than I already don't care.
Yeah, man. It's Kim's problem now.
Well, I feel for her.
Well, she came out and said no. She came out and said that if Kanye hadn't been representing for Trump, then that woman, I can't remember her name, that she got released through Trump pardon, that she would have never been pardoned. So that's why it's all been worth it. And she just lets Kanye be him.
Well,
that's a good wife. I was looking for.
She okay, I'm gonna put her on she got the Camille Cosby going on.
Basically, she like, I ride or die. There's no other option. All right, that's all I got. I think that's pretty much all I did have. That's plenty. Anything else? Sorry to leave you guys on such a high note, but that's all I got.
I know we don't have as much yes y'all as I'd hoped.
It's been a pretty shitty last couple of weeks, and the thing is that it's the elections up, and I don't really give a fuck about anything else going on. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Like, there's a lot. Luke Cage got canceled. That sucks.
I know. What the fuck?
I didn't even watch it,
but like, still, I want it to be on.
I watched it twice, so I counted for two of us. I voted twice, so I don't know why. It's just. I get it. Netflix can't just keep everything on forever, but it was like, really, the black show, the one black show, and now. Oh, I just want to sorry to interrupt.
Go.
But like, this did trip me out. Like, now, as much as I like the remaining Marvel shows, now it is all white shows. Okay, but even more tellingly, it's the two main shows, The Punisher and Daredevil, are both white fucking power fantasies, white male power fantasies about some white dude, Irish Catholic motherfucker, going out to exact vengeance on the streets, usually against colored people. And I'm like, I love these movies, but I'm like, it's very telling what the narrative is right now.
I will say this. I'm pretty positive Netflix is going where the money is. Basically the viewership, because there's so much in debt, right? So it's telling, but it's not telling of Netflix trying to make money. It's telling of what our fucking society wants to fucking see.
What do they want to see?
That shows a bulletproof black man was a novelty, and then we was like, nah, we don't want to see that shit no more.
Sure. Thank God for Black Lightning. Thank God Black Lightning is still.
And if you guys really need a far departure from reality and just want to laugh at something wholly inappropriate and crude, I highly suggest you check out the Netflix series Big Mouth.
Truth.
It's all the way rude. It's all the way ratchet. It's freaking hilarious. It's an animated series.
It's got
about two young boys going through puberty and young girls.
Yes.
And if you can get over the initial like, whoa, this is way out there, you will laugh till you cry, which is, I think, what we need right now.
It's fantastic.
Now that I think about it, the first season came out right around when Trump got elected, and nothing could make me smile. I was like, oh my God, life is over. And then this show came around, and I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe we're going to be all right. Because I laughed my ass off.
Culturally, the culture is with us, guys. It's just everything else is fucked up. And if you don't vote, then it's going to solidify and cement for God.
Please vote. Seriously, just please vote.
And when I say
even
vote,
if you don't vote all the time.
Democrat.
I'm not saying you have to vote in every election from here on out, but just vote for this one.
But this one, please.
Just vote this one, okay?
Even if you're a hardcore fucking anarchist, socialist,
just
Marxist revolutionary, this one time, swallow your goddamn bile and just vote for a Democrat.
Or like, take your grandma to vote. You know, if you know some old people, really though, if you know some old people that need help, please drive their asses to a poll.
Young people, please vote. We know everyone is old that you have to vote for.
At the very least, if you don't want to vote, take an old person to vote who does want to vote. How about that? How about that?
Please.
The other little shout outs I want to give are to Array, of course, my fave.
Yay.
They have a new film coming out called Vaya. It's from a South African director named, I'm going to butcher his name, Akin Omotoso.
Okay.
And it's gonna be screening here in LA starting Friday, October 26th through November 1st at the Lemley Music Hall, which is a small independent theater in Beverly Hills. It also will be released on Netflix for streaming everywhere on November 1st. Also on Monday, October 29th, Array is continuing their partnership with the Broad Museum to screen classic Black films, and in line with Halloween coming up, they're going to be screening the horror cult classic film Ganja and Hess, directed by Bill Gunn. So that's going to be at the Egyptian Theater on Monday the 29th. And as we said before, if you want to catch my play, which got great reviews in the Larchmont Buzz, a local circular that we have here, it's available for one more weekend at the Stella Adler Theater in Hollywood, Saturday at 8, Sunday at 3. There's an Eventbrite link that we've probably posted somewhere. You can also just look up Town Street Theater and find the info, or if you check me out on Instagram, Melissa Kay Anderson, you can get the link to tickets and all that good stuff. I think that's every cool thing that I know about happening right now.
Yay! God bless you guys. Good night.
Thank y'all for hanging with us and being patient with us. And I guess we have no reposts and shout outs and things like that.
We may, but I'm not doing them tonight.
Okay, I guess we're done, guys.
All right, we'll get you next time, all right? All right, love y'all guys. Peace. Bye.